Hello and welcome to Castle's Corner. I am Coach Castle. Today, I thought we'd have a talk. I like to call these real talks. Call them rants, story time, you can call them whatever you like. I just finished up my workout, that's why I'm all sweaty and fucked up looking. So, everyone has problems in their life. There's not a single person here that doesn't. We all suffer. Everyone suffers. We all suffer in different ways because we all have different personalities, different lives, lifestyle choices, different random things thrown at us. Some people suffer from anxiety, fear. I could make a list, but I think we all pretty much know what the suffering is. I want to talk to you about some of my personal struggles, some of the things I've personally gone through now. I'm sure all of us have a big list. This isn't a competition, guys. I just want to share with you some of my own personal challenges, obstacles I've personally overcome. These might not sound like a great deal to somebody else, but just please remember we all have our problems. So I'll be making a lot of these videos, I think. But today's about courage, so people will say there's all kinds of courages. I don't think so. I really think there's just one kind of courage, and that's just doing something when you're scared of it. A big problem people have is they don't want to admit that they're afraid of something. So the first bit of advice that I try to give people, and this is what I had to give myself a long time ago, was you got to go in the mirror in the bathroom. You got to look at yourself right in the face, right in the eye, and you have to say, what's your problem? What is the most incredibly stupid thing you are currently doing which you know you should not be doing? What is your problem? Name it. You all know what I'm talking about. Now, I'm not going to be digging into you guys, I'm just going to be talking about myself here. So, once upon a time I did this, and at the time, my problem was pretty simple. I was a big fucking liar. I lied about everything. Everything. This is when I was in my teens, and this is the first time I recognized you could have a problem and actively do something to fix it. I don't remember exactly how old I was. I believe I was either 16 or 17. And here's what I recognized. I recognized that people would ask me questions and I would just give them completely fabricated, made-up stories about literally everything. I was a pathological liar. Now, it seems to me that most people are. Most people lie constantly. They lie all day. They lie to themselves. They lie to even their family and their friends. They'll justify their lies, and they'll lie some more to cover up their lies. They'll fabricate their own memories to hide their lies and make their lies true, in a sense. Eventually they believe their lies. This was me. I was the person who was believing my own lies. I was writing a made-up story about my life because my life was in reality so horrible I didn't want to admit it. So I give you an example. I would go to school, and just to get to school, there were days where I would have to walk or ride this broken bike I found and I fixed. Now, that might not sound that bad, but this was about 8.5, 9 miles. It was uphill from where I lived, actually, and this was in upstate New York. So you got to remember, quite a few months it was very cold and snowy, very. This is right next to the Canadian border, and that's how I would have to get to school. So now I would get to school, and the teachers and the other students would recognize that I was not looking my best. I was purple, I couldn't move, and I was frozen some days, and other days I'd be getting there covered in sweat, and I'd have to, be in school all day just smelling like a pig. So people would, ask me, and I would just tell them all kinds of made-up stories. I never had clothes in school. I never had new clothes. I used to just wear my father's clothes, which were far too large for me, and he had garbage clothes as it was. I was just ashamed and embarrassed to wear them. So in school during gym class, I'd wait till everybody went in the gym room, and I'd go in the other lockers. I'd break the lock, and I'd figure out how to get into it, and I'd steal other kids' clothes, and then like rip off the tags and like Sharpie them so they look like mine. Same thing with books and bags. We're not going to get into my childhood in this video, but it wasn't the best. It wasn't horrible. I mean, people have had worse. It just wasn't the best. But because of it, I was always lying about everything. Now, in order to recognize what was happening, it took an outside source. I didn't recognize on my own. An art teacher, her name was Mrs. Waters, said something to me. Basically, she was the only one who kept picking at me throughout the years. She kept like every time she saw me, she dug into it, and I think once she even involved the school counselor. But she said to me, she said, you have to be honest with yourself. Those aren't the words she used. She said something else. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was basically, you have to be honest with yourself. And it didn't even click when she said it, but a few weeks later, it did kind of click when I realized I was just telling this ridiculous made-up story to this person, and I mean, they clearly didn't believe me anyways. And the story was so stupid, I don't even know why I was saying it. So that day, I went to the mirror, I looked at myself, and I said, why are you lying all the time? I mean, why? Why are you doing this? Why are you lying about everything? People are looking at you and they don't believe you. Nobody wants to talk to you because they know you're going to lie to them. This is not good for you. I was being isolated. I was shunned by everyone because of many reasons. But I basically didn't really have friends. And the few friends I had, well, they weren't really the kind of friends that you want to have. So I got real upset, and I cried, and I made the mistake of asking the school for help. That was a big mistake. Again, there'll be another video. But that didn't go well, but at least I was trying something. And in the end, at that time, by the way, I should specify, I was still unable to stop my endless lying, but it did slow down a little bit. It wasn't until I think I was nearing the end of college, I really started to tell the truth about everything. I think it's just because I was growing up and I was being forced to take a lot of responsibility at the time. Even at the time in college, I was working about 16-hour days every day. I mean, just to survive. And but I started to recognize that the less I lied, the more people respected me. And I also started to recognize that the more I told the truth, the less people believed it. The truth really is stranger than fiction. And I won't say I don't lie nowadays. I'm sure I do. I'm sure I misspeak. But it's never consciously. I don't. If anybody's ever had conversations with me, quite frequently I will misspeak or even catch myself in a lie, and I'll call it out in the middle of a conversation. It's just a habit I've always had. I think personally it makes me a better person. It's debatable, I suppose. I do my best to always tell the truth about literally everything. And a good fun part of telling the truth about everything, by the way, is it really is stranger than fiction. People still they won't believe you when you tell them the truth right to their face. They'll do everything to block it out. Cognitive biases, guys. I mean, we all know about that, but it's a fault of us humans. Now, courage, it's really hard to say out loud what your problem is. It is. It's hard to even write it down. And then it's really easy when you do finally manage to get the words out, or you do finally manage to write it down. It's really easy to have that, I guess I'll call it a spark of courage. Do that, and then block it out, forget about it, mindlessly hide it, and then just go back to your normal routines. Courage, you have to be consciously aware of it on a daily basis. And here's one way I personally find that I find the courage to do things I don't want to do, which is pretty much a daily basis, by the way. And I'm not talking discipline right now. I do mean courage, because there's a big difference between discipline and courage. I'm not talking about discipline. I'm speaking on courage. I treat my fears and my problems just like they are the enemy, like they are something that I have to destroy, like they are something which I have to go against and I have to attack. So when I recognized that lying was my problem, I painted a picture of my ugly self lying in my mind and what I looked like to other people when I was lying to them, what kind of a nasty green little monster I must seem to that person. And that was the enemy I created in my mind. That was the thing I did not want to become. And so what I did was very simple. I attacked it every day. Consciously, I chose to attack that enemy. And whenever I felt a lie coming out, or I was saying a lie, I was taking back my power and my control by saying out loud, "Excuse me, that's a lie. Let me take that back and tell you the truth." Not only did that garner me respect from everybody it occurred in conversation with, it made me respect myself more, because I was fighting my enemy every day. And every time I did that, it was like landing a punch in that enemy's face. And every time I completed a whole day without lying, it was a full victory for me. But just like an addict, you have to monitor yourself every single day, and you have to attack your monster, your problem, whatever it is that you have named, whatever picture you have painted. You have to attack it with everything you have every single day, and you have to continue to attack it, because there is no problem, no monster, and no thing in this world which will stand against something which is continuing to attack it fiercely. Now, there'll be some days you lose. There'll be some days he gets the better of you, your demon, your problem beats you. Perhaps other demons and problems team up with it and they beat you down, but that's okay. Your job is to wake up and paint a picture of who that bastard is and savagely attack him or her or whatever the hell it is every day. If you're a smoker, that cigarette is your enemy. That craving is your enemy. You need to attack it. Doesn't matter how you do it. Get help. Hire help. Get a psychologist, hypnotherapist. If you're fat, you didn't get that way by accident. No one pushed that food in your mouth. No one came into your house while you were sleeping and shoved it in your fucking mouth. Thermodynamics. We all know that if we eat more than we move, we get fat. You are all aware of that. What's your demon? Your demon is your desire to eat that ungodly food which you put in your mouth. It's very simple. Stop doing it. Get help. Ask someone for help. Name your problem. I'm not going to keep going with the list. There's a big list. I mean, whatever. Alcoholic. I mean, you're neurotic. You have anxiety. Whatever. Pick your demon, guys. There's enough of them to go around. Whatever it may be. Your job is to name it and then attack it. Every day is a new day, and every day that demon will be there. You have to recognize he's there, waiting, and you have to be waiting for him too. And you have to be waiting for him with a better plan than him. You have to be waiting there stronger and faster and more prepared than your demon, and you have to continue to attack. And I know you all can. And it starts small, and it can start today. Now, yes, you can. Let's get to it, guys. Name your demon. Attack that bastard.